Hello everyone, it's me, Accelerate, and the NFL season is officially over, which sucks. However, most teams are looking forward to the NFL draft. Now, as a residential Cardinals fan, I look forward to it often, even though in the end we'll probably draft a linebacker from Eastern West City with our first round pick. Then our rivals, who none of which have a first, mind you, will find some all-pro gem in later rounds to torment us. This video isn't about the Cardinals, however. It is about the draft prospects in general. More so, my favorite player to look at per position group, offense, defense, and one special teamer even. I'll try to break down my thoughts as well as I possibly can, even without the fancy all 22 everyone and their grandmother is using. Also break down my concerns with each of them heading into the draft. Now, your favorite prospect may not be mentioned on the list, but that's okay. This isn't the last draft related video I'll do, so leave suggestions in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Without any further ado, let's get started with the video. As for the signal callers of this draft, there isn't a clear-cut favorite, and it's not as strong as most years. This class doesn't have a Joe Burrow, a Trevor Lawrence, an Andrew Luck. It's not cut and dry if any of these quarterbacks will pan out at all, but a name I've kept my eye on since way last season was Malik Willis out of Liberty. I really like his potential, which if you're drafting a quarterback in this specific draft, potential is probably one of the most important factors to think about. Willis this season had about 2,600 passing yards and 800 rushing yards with 35 total touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He matured a lot from his time at Auburn, even according to him. His rushing skills invest me into him, even though he can't change directions quite like QBs like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson can. Although no one ever questioned his legs, more so when he throws, especially from the pocket. He tends to stare down his receivers too often, which will fly in college sometimes, but NFL DBs and linebackers are hungry to eat that shit up if he doesn't fix it. He had a rough go against the better teams in college as well, like Ole Miss. He really struggles as of right now to create in the passing game. He should go around 10 to 20, and the best fits to me are New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee. From Arizona State University, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about Rachaad White, and I think that should change right now. This season, he had about 1,006 rush yards, 456 receiving yards, and 16 touchdowns on 5.5 yards per carry. He's a very patient back, and at 6'2", he's very fast for his size. Usually, White can break off at the initial contact with a mix of power and speed that are pretty impressive. However, he's a very, very poor blocker and is in a weird spot where he's not big enough to be a power back, but not small enough to be an elusive threat yet. He also tries to create plays that aren't there, overtaking easy yardage. He should go around rounds 3 to 4, and my best fits are the Cardinals, Bills, and Texans. In 2021, Treylon Burks had a great year of 1,104 yards and 11 touchdowns for the Arkansas Razorbacks, being their main weapon. He's 6'3", but can be very versatile. Can play a Debo-like role in certain offenses. At his sides, he is a big, deep threat, not just contested, but with crazy speed, and has insanely big hands like oven mitts at 10.75 inches. They're way bigger than any wide receivers in last year's class. He has good blocking skills downfield, and he's usually a matchup nightmare for whoever's on him. He's going to be one of those rare players that runs a sub 4.4 40 at 6'3". I could gush on about Burks for a while, but we have a lot of more prospects to get to. His main weakness is that he doesn't always use his hands on downfield catches, using his body instead, and isn't a very polished route runner yet. He's like a DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel type. He should go around anywhere from 8 to 24, and his best fits are the Cleveland Browns, Philadelphia Eagles, and New England Patriots. Please, dear God, don't let that happen. This tight end class is weak, very weak, especially compared to last year where it has guys like Kyle Pitts and Pat Freiermuth. Mainly more of depth guys I see than tight end ones. I do like Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin the most though. 6'5", 244, the 23-year-old tight end is a good blocker off the line and has consistent catching abilities with a good mix of body control somewhere in there. Has good timing to set up blocks. However, his power is still lackluster, which will never make him a top of the line blocker. He's not a deep threat, very slow to get going at the starts of games. He should go rounds 5 and 6, and I really like him fitting in with the Niners and Cowboys. Look, I'm just going to be honest with you all. I love watching this dude play. Everything about him just screams domination. He had 37 pancakes his first year at NC State. However, I'm going with the cons first just to get him out of the way. He still has a lot of room to grow as a pass blocker. This year allowed 3 sacks and 4 penalties. He tends to be over-aggressive at times, and even at his elite speed at offensive line will get beat by edge rushers. His pros, though, I believe, make up for the average pass blocking. He's a very impressive athlete for his size and position, able to run downfield to continue his blocking. He was a wrestler in high school, and that developed his hands, and had 50 pancakes and 22 knockdowns this year. He's a superb run blocker at almost every aspect of offensive tackle, as well as having a top-level IQ. Even for his pass block cons, he's almost impossible to be susceptible to a bull rush. Never overextends either. He's my offensive line 1, and although some sites have him listed as a guard, I like him as a tackle more. I dare even say he's a better offensive lineman than Evan Neal in my eyes. He should go top 10 easily. His best fits to me are the New York Giants, Jets, and Houston Texans. On to the defense now. Not the Georgia tackle you were expecting, eh? Don't get me wrong, I really like Jordan Davis. He's a freak of a human. But Devonte Wyatt is super slept on. I want you to acknowledge how good this man can be for D-line needy teams. 6'2" out of Georgia, Wyatt is electric. Very quick first step for a defensive lineman and creates gaps for the rest of his line. He's a freak filled with energy and nice speed at his position. Disciplined, not really susceptible to many penalties. The only negatives I really found with him were that he doesn't fully utilize his body and struggles against double teams, but overall, this man should be a first rounder quite easily. But will probably fall to the second, around 25 to 45 I'd say, and the Chargers desperately need a guy like him. I'm going to do 2 edges on account that this is the most stacked position in the draft. From Kayvon Thibodeau to Aiden Hutchinson to George Karlaftis. A guy I really like is one that may be a bigger beast than any of them if developed right and given enough time. The Powder Keg, 250-pound monster out of Michigan, shadowing Hudson. David Ojabo. This man is a physical freak. Everything just screams good to me. His speed, top tier. His athleticism, better than anyone I've mentioned so far. A man that size shouldn't be quick off the edge. I know I haven't really done comparisons this video, but he reminds me of Chandler Jones, especially because of his 11 sacks, but also 5 forced fumbles, most of which on strip sacks. The only negative I've found with him was that his hands are very soft, but I adore the guy. He's going to be a force under the right development. He can go anywhere in the top 10, but I see more like 10 to 20. Teams that would be a good fit are Denver, Atlanta, and Philly. I've heard a lot of people talk about Cameron Thomas. I really like what he can bring to teams picking late round 1. Just like Ojabo, Thomas is 6'5". He also played tight end, but that's not really important. What is important, however, is his career at San Diego State. He had steady improvement each season, and this year was the cherry on top. 12 sacks, 21 hits, 44 hurries, and won the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. Unlike Wyatt, Thomas is really, really good against frequent double and triple teams. Only reason his stock isn't any higher is not having the best twitch and sometimes can go out of control. His footwork is some of the best out of any edge in this draft. Works well in a 4-3 defense and can chase running backs down. Late first to second rounder, and I really like him for Detroit, Niners, or the Chiefs. Not the fastest linebacker of the bunch for sure, but he has traits of both an edge and a cover linebacker like Micah Parsons. Devin Lloyd only allowed a 56.3 passer rating when he was targeted this season. He's a very tall linebacker and had 8 sacks off of the edge. He's very smart for a younger linebacker. Can pretty much be a plug and play instantly by whoever drafts him. He doesn't have a lot of strength, which means he's going to struggle in pass rush at first. He's going to have to rely heavily on his own IQ to get stuff done. And he covers like a corner. Overall, I really do like Lloyd. Even though it's the obvious choice, he's the right choice. Should be taken mid first. I really like his fits with the Giants, Pats, and Titans, even though he will not fall that far. I really do like Sauce Gardner, but A, everyone and their mother has talked about him already, and B, I really like McDuffie for a while. Stingley hasn't been able to put together a full season. I really love McCreary from Auburn, but I'm not sure. And Elam, I haven't researched enough of. McDuffie's a 5'11 corner from Washington and very enticing with the 4.4 40. QB rating of 52 when targeted and was only thrown at 36 times all season. He has top level speed and explosiveness, very aware of end zone, and making QBs pay on their errant throws, as well as being a good man corner as he is in zone. He can fit in pretty much every system. He's also a tackler, not scared to hit anyone. His awareness is, I think, better than anyone else's as well as his aggressiveness, which is the only glaring con I really see, being over-aggressive and NFL QBs making him pay. However, his straight line speed makes it so that he will not be beat deep often, if ever, and his receiver-like hands. He may not have the perfect size or type of corner the others are, but he's damn good. He'll be called at the back end of the round 1, but should go way higher in my opinion. Really good fits are the Cardinals, Titans, and Dallas. I want a reason to put this man in here. Record setter, punting god, a reincarnated Ray Guy, a king of the punt that would make Pat McAfee blush. He had 52 yards per punt, which is obviously a record, and 1860 plus yard nukes. Oh, forgot to mention he has two 80-yard punts, one going for 86 yards. He's going to be a soccer player. He's 6'8" and regularly studies once in the NFL. He may go in the later rounds, but keeping it between us, he's the GOAT. Pick one, a freak of football, dominant, a legend. Ray Guy would be proud of this man.